In a faraway kingdom, nestled amidst rolling hills and dense forests, there lived a humble couple who yearned for a child. They were known throughout their village for their kindness and generosity, yet their hearts were heavy with the longing for a little one to complete their family. Years passed, and their hopes seemed to fade with each season. Yet, as fate would have it, the wife, after much prayer and perseverance, became pregnant. The couple rejoiced, their hearts swelling with joy at the miracle that had finally graced their lives. One sunny afternoon, as the wife wandered near their modest home, her eyes fell upon a lush, enchanting garden adjacent to their property. This garden was unlike any she had ever seen. It was filled with an array of vibrant flowers and, most mesmerizing of all, an abundance of rampions, also known as Rapunzel plants. The rampions were lush and verdant, their leaves and flowers glowing with an irresistible allure. However, this beautiful garden belonged to a wicked witch named Gothel. Gothel was a fearsome figure, her name whispered with dread throughout the land. She had a reputation for cruelty and malice, and her garden was said to be enchanted, brimming with magical herbs and plants. The rampions, in particular, were known to be extraordinarily rare and delicious. The sight of these rampions ignited an insatiable craving within the pregnant woman. Her longing for the plants grew so intense that she began to fall ill. Her husband, deeply troubled by his wife's suffering, decided to take a desperate measure. One moonlit night, he stealthily crept into Gothel's garden, driven by his desire to alleviate his wife's cravings and to see her restored to health. The garden was guarded by magical wards and traps, but the husband, driven by love and desperation, managed to evade them. He carefully plucked some of the precious rampions and returned home, presenting them to his wife. She ate them with great delight, and the taste was so extraordinary that her craving was only intensified. She requested more, and her husband, feeling compelled to satisfy her need, returned to the garden. Unfortunately, this time, Gothel was waiting. She had noticed the disturbances and, with her keen senses, apprehended the man. Furious, Gothel confronted him with a voice as cold and sharp as a winter's wind. "How dare you steal from my garden?" she hissed. "For this, you must pay a terrible price." The man, paralyzed with fear, fell to his knees and begged for mercy. Gothel, though fierce, was not without a sense of mercy. She agreed to spare him, but only on the condition that he would give her the child once it was born. With no other option, the man reluctantly agreed to the wicked bargain, his heart heavy with dread. The child was born soon after, a beautiful baby girl with a crown of golden hair. Gothel, true to her word, came to claim the child. She named the infant Rapunzel and took her away, isolating her in a tall, solitary tower deep within the forest. The tower was unique, with no doors or stairs, only a narrow window at the very top. Rapunzel grew up in this isolation, her hair growing longer with each passing day. From her small window, she could see the world, but was unable to leave her prison. Gothel, visiting her regularly, would call out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel, obediently, would lower her long braid, allowing Gothel to climb up and visit her. Despite her confinement, Rapunzel blossomed into a stunning young woman. Her hair, which flowed like a golden river, became her connection to the outside world. As the years passed, Rapunzel spent her days singing, her melodious voice echoing through the forest and occasionally reaching the ears of those who ventured nearby. One day, a prince from a neighboring kingdom was riding through the forest. The air was filled with the sweet, haunting notes of Rapunzel's song. Enchanted by her voice, the prince followed the sound until he came upon the mysterious tower. He watched in awe as Gothel climbed up Rapunzel's hair, disappearing through the small window. The prince, determined to meet the beautiful voice that had captivated him, waited until Gothel left. Gathering his courage, he approached the tower and called out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." Rapunzel, startled by the unfamiliar voice, hesitated momentarily, but then lowered her hair as instructed. The prince climbed up with ease, entering the tower to meet Rapunzel. Although initially taken aback by the sudden appearance of a stranger, Rapunzel soon found comfort in the prince's gentle demeanor. The prince was kind and attentive, and he visited Rapunzel every day. Their conversations and shared moments sparked a deep and genuine connection. Before long, love blossomed between them. The prince proposed marriage, and Rapunzel, overjoyed, accepted. Their happiness seemed boundless, but fate had a cruel twist in store. Gothel, upon discovering the secret of Rapunzel's suitor, was consumed by rage. In a fit of fury, she stormed into the tower, her eyes blazing with malevolence. She seized Rapunzel and, in an act of unspeakable cruelty, cut off her long, golden hair. She then banished Rapunzel to a desolate land far from the tower, leaving her alone and forlorn. Gothel then devised a wicked plan to trap the prince. When the prince arrived at the tower the following day, he was met not by Rapunzel, but by Gothel. Deceitfully, she allowed him to climb up the tower, only to push him from the window. The prince fell into a dense thicket of thorns, which blinded him with their sharp, piercing points. Blinded and heartbroken, the prince wandered through the wilderness, searching for Rapunzel. His journey was long and arduous, marked by despair and hope. He traversed rugged terrain, crossed treacherous rivers, and endured many hardships, all the while clinging to the hope of finding his beloved Rapunzel. After many years, in his wandering, the prince heard a familiar, melodious voice. It was Rapunzel's song, drifting through the air and guiding him to her. Following the sound, he found Rapunzel, now living in the desolate land where Gothel had banished her. Their reunion was filled with overwhelming joy. Rapunzel's tears of happiness fell upon the prince's eyes, and miraculously, her tears had the power to heal him. The thorns that had blinded him were washed away by her tears, and his sight was restored. With his vision returned and his heart restored, the prince and Rapunzel made their way back to his kingdom. There, they were married in a grand celebration, surrounded by those who had long awaited their return. Their love had triumphed over the darkness that had threatened to consume them. In the end, the tale of Rapunzel and the prince became a legend, a story of enduring love and the power of hope against even the most formidable adversities. The kingdom rejoiced in their happiness, and the couple lived out their days in peace and prosperity, their hearts forever entwined. And so, love conquered all, even the darkest of curses, proving that even in the direst of circumstances, hope and love could prevail.